Okay, y'all, I'm gonna try to make this really quick because this isn't a full instructional video because this would drive me nuts trying to do this. And I didn't intend on making an instructional video, but this has been kicking my ass so much that I had to give y'all a few tips just in hope that it would alleviate some of the stress for somebody else. So this is a 9906 Chevy 1500, same as a GMC Sierra four-wheel drive. So this is gonna be on the four-wheel drives. This is the tips you're gonna need to know on how to get this pan out. So, but this only applies to lifted trucks. So if you'll see on one of these, whenever it gets lifted, the original cross member that typically bolts right there, typically you have to unbolt that and then drop the differential to get the pan out, the oil pan. But on this one, since I have a lift kit on it, it has this solid metal bar that braces the whole suspension. This holds the lower control arms, this holds everything together. So this is the basis of your frame pretty much. So you can't just unbolt and remove this. That would be probably a 5-hour job if you were to try to undo all that, and you would probably end up messing up your alignment and you gotta drop the torsion bars. So I was not about to do that, especially since my truck's been on the lift for a week already because I just rebuilt the rear diff and I had to learn how to do that myself. So I haven't even got to test that yet. But so basically what you need to do, and I'll show you what I did real quick. So I took a scissor jack, you know, like the ones that are in your car. There you go. I took one of these and I took it to where I could put a socket on that. And I came back here. Of course, I took out, my drive shaft was out already, but I put it between the torsion bar cross member and the transfer case. And I tightened it and to lift it up. I lifted up about 4 inches. So you're able to lift it up a few inches. And I will say this, my truck has a body lift, so there was more room between the body and the engine and transmission, but this might still help y'all. So I was able to lift it up, and then I put a 2x4 under the mount. So that's between the 2 bolts. So it keeps it up about 3-4 inches. And so that lifted up the rear. So the rear was up about 4 inches, but that still wasn't enough room to bring out the oil pan because it really only lifted up the back, but didn't lift up the oil pan of the engine a lot. So what I had to do was take off my motor mounts. It's 6 15 millimeters. On mine, since I have a body lift, I was able to come in from the side right here and go down. But you gotta take off your 6 motor mounts. They're down there. You gotta take out your steering shaft. There, it's in the way, but they're right there. There's one in the middle and one on either side. So 3 on this side, 3 on the other side. And then I took a 2x4 and a floor jack and ran that up to the crank pulley, the harmonic balancer, and then jacked up the engine about 6 inches. And now I will say this again, because I don't know if this will help you guys that don't have body lifts, but this is just, it might help you a little bit. But I was able to then jack up the engine about 6 inches, and that then allowed the oil pan to slip out without having to take apart the whole front suspension and removing the lift kit pretty much. So this would have been about a 10-hour job if I had to guess, because of how heavy and all this shit would be to put it back in its place and bolt it all up. But it ended up taking me about an additional hour once I figured out how I was gonna do it. So pick up the back of the transmission, put it on a block, or the transfer case, and then undo your motor mounts and jack up the engine, and you should have enough wiggle room to get it out. Of course, this depends on how tall your lift kit is and if you have a body lift or not. So if you have a 7-inch lift, you'll have a little bit more room, but if you're running like a 3 or 4-inch lift where you have a cross member that only gives you like 3 inches of room, this probably won't work. But for you guys with like a 8, 7 to 9-inch lift, this will probably work with your body in the factory location. But if you guys have like a 4-inch lift, this probably isn't gonna help. But it's just an idea and it worked for me. Sorry, this was rambly and I was just talking real fast, but I need to go to the parts store. And if you guys were interested, I built this rear diff. If everything was to spec, but if you guys are interested on me giving a step-by-step or explaining some important things and how to measure them, let me know. Because this is a complete DIY. I did it all myself. Everything is in spec. But if it holds up, then I will give you guys some pointers. But of course, if it doesn't do me any good, then I won't waste your time because obviously I didn't know what I was doing. But hope this helped y'all guys a little bit. Good luck with this project. Take your time. Try not to break anything. Don't strip any bolts. And good luck, guys. Y'all take care.